Jaya Radha Kunja
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances. Hare Krishna. The only thing is I don't know how to use Zoom very well, so I don't know if anyone can hear me. And I don't think I
can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Maharaj, we can hear you.
Okay. Is it clear enough, or should I put on a headset?
Yes, clear.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, if you kindly give permission, Maharaj, then we just wish to speak a few words about you to the devotees. Thank you so much. We are extremely fortunate and grateful to Srila Bhurijan Maharaj for very kindly giving us his most auspicious association. He received initiation from His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, way back in 1968. So he's a very, very senior member in ISKCON. In 1970, Maharaj with his wife, Her Grace Jagat Tarini Mataji, opened ISKCON's very first center in Hong Kong. And then after that, throughout 1970s, they preached with Srila Prabhupada in Japan, Hong Kong, Philippines, Australia, New Zealand, Fiji, Hawaii, and so many other places. In their last meeting in 1976, His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada instructed Bhurijan Maharaj to focus on teaching. He taught for 7 years in the United States of America and then founded the Vrindavan Institute for Higher Education. As we know it, the VIHE, which is contributing significantly in the education for all the devotees for ISKCON. In VIHE, Maharaj taught writing, teaching, and how to study Srila Prabhupada's books in the most scrutinizing way. Maharaj also organized ISKCON's first Shastra degree courses. In one of his last visits in Ujjain, while he was in the temple hall, he described the 6th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam in the presence of all the devotees, and we had Guru Maharaj also there. And Guru Maharaj glorified him by saying that this is the symptom of a really learned personality, that he can speak the most profound and most voluminous subject matter in such a few words, and it sounds so simple for everyone to understand. So we are very, very fortunate to have his association, and let us chant one time Hare Krishna Mahamantra to express our heartfelt gratitude to him. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srila Bhurijan Maharaj ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj ki jai. Srila Prabhupada Bhaktivinoda ki jai. His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj Bhaktivinoda ki jai. It's very, I feel the one who is very fortunate because this is a tiny, insignificant offering, but yet it's my offering to your Guru Maharaj at this most difficult time. Before we came online, I was watching the video of your Guru Maharaj playing harmonium and singing, and it was just so refreshing and so soothing to the heart to see him like that. Especially because just before that we saw the photograph of him in the hospital and with his eyes open, and of course that was very I would say difficult to see, and I'm sure if you've seen that photo it was so difficult for you all to see too. But what I read from that photo is that in one sense we are all very helpless, and seeing Maharaj's eyes and the difficulties of his circumstance, as I said, it was very difficult. But even though on one level Maharaj is in a very helpless condition, but he's not alone at all. And this, we have our experiences of that Prabhupada is there with him and protecting him, and also Sisi Gonatai and the wonderful deities you have all installed. So on one level, it's helplessness, but that helplessness and that clinging and all the devoted service that he has heartfeltly rendered has endeared the Lords to him so much. And so on one level, we're all in anxiety and all prayerfully so, but on another level, a level that we really can't even consider right now, in one sense, that Maharaj is in perfect hands, the hands of those that he's been preaching to us about for so many years. So there's some reassurance in that, although it conflicts completely with the sentiment of the tattva is there, but yet the rasa is there too. And it's a time for the rasa now, not for the tattva. When considering what I would speak about, my first thought was, what could I possibly say? And then somehow I had because I don't want to talk just theory and just philosophy, but somehow or another, I've been reading Chaitanya Charitamrita to a group of devotees on the WhatsApp chat, and the exact spot that we're up to is exactly what I would like to speak to you all about at this particular time. And in my mind, the exact point that we are up to in that reading is exactly what I believe is required for all of us, and especially all of you at this point. So I'll begin. So what I've been reading from is a very, very intimate part of Chaitanya Charitamrita, because I'm just keeping on going. So the Chaitanya Charitamrita is full of so much rasa. So I've just been reading from chapter by chapter by chapter. And what we're up to right now is the teachings, or the Ramananda Samlap, the conversation between Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Roy. in Vidyanagara. So we've heard, everyone knows this incredible pastime where Ramananda Roy is being empowered by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to speak Krishna Katha. So Ramananda Roy, Mahaprabhu was asking Ramananda Roy questions. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is asking questions and Ramananda Roy is answering them. So the questions begin with what's the purpose of life? And then it moves on to, and Mahaprabhu was always, when it was on a certain level, he was saying, here, Bhaya, this is external. I want to hear more. I want to hear more deeply. So at some point, Mahaprabhu said yes, when he said, Shruti that you should stay where you are and just hear Srimad Bhagavatam. And then Mahaprabhu said, yes, this is actually correct, because it was on a different level than karma or jnana or renunciation. And so amazingly, Mahaprabhu said, when Ramananda Roy said, Savadamam Prityaja Mame Kam Sharanam, Mahaprabhu said, yeah, Bhaya, this is external, because it was more or less just karma tyag. That was the mood that it was spoken in. So when it came to the point of the pure devotional service, then Mahaprabhu said, yes, but I want to hear more. So then Ramananda Roy described one after another the different rasas that it's possible to have with Krishna, or the intimacies of relationship, the intimacies of love that is possible to have with Krishna. And then when it came to the Madhurya ras, Shringara ras, Kanjago ras, then Mahaprabhu said, yes, I want to hear more about this. So Ramananda Roy spoke, and then there was a description that he gave of Krishna, because the rasa is between Krishna and Srimati Radharani. So he spoke about Krishna and explained the wondrous qualities of Krishna, and then he spoke about Srimati Radharani and explained the wonderful, attractive qualities of Srimati Radharani. And of course, in Prabhupada's purports, again and again and again and again, he said, this has nothing to do with the material world. This is all on the spiritual level. This is on the transcendental level. And it's so amazing that Krishna has hidden the most intimate thing in plain sight, in one sense. But no one can understand it because of the material covering over their mind of desire to enjoy. But it's there right in front of us, what the highest thing is. And Kaviraj Goswami says he can speak about it even, but no one will understand it because of the covering of material consciousness with thinking ourselves the center of existence, and ourselves as Ishwaraham Mahambhogi, as the enjoyers. So in any case, after describing Radha and Krishna in detail, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked, now I want to hear still more. And Ramananda Roy said, still more than this? How is this? How it's even possible? But, and then he explained something of his own composition, and Mahaprabhu covered his mouth even. It was so ununderstandable to the material mind, and ununderstandable shouldn't even be spoken about in public, practically speaking. And this was Prema Vilas Vivarta, or when the intensity of the loving relationship on the spiritual platform, having nothing to do with the material platform, the intensity of love between Radha and Krishna is so great that they become one, practically speaking. And this hints at Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu too. So Ramananda Roy then spoke 3 verses of his own composition, and these were accepted by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the essence, the topmost, the intensity, the most intense love between Radha and Krishna. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asks a very, very interesting question, because he's just heard about the goal of life, And this is the goal of life that he's placed really prema pamarto mahan within, this is his movement, and he's placed it within there. So then he says, this is the best. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, this is the limit of the goal of human life. And only by your mercy, he says to Sri Ramananda Roy, have I been able to understand this correctly. The goal of life cannot be achieved unless one practices the process, he says. Now, being merciful to me, please explain the upai. Sadhya vastu sadhana vina keha nahi pai. Kripa kori kaharai prabara upai. Now, what is the upai? The means, the methodology to attain the highest perfection. And now we will hear something about this, but the last verse that I will read is what I really wanted to say, and I think it's a message that's appropriate for the times. So Ramananda Roy says, the goal of life cannot be achieved unless one practices the process. Now, Mahaprabhu says, being merciful to me, please explain that means the upai, the process by which this goal, this ultimate goal, can be obtained. And then Ramananda Roy says, I don't know what I'm saying, but whatever I'm speaking, it's you who's making me speak, whether it's good or bad. I'm just repeating what the inspiration, the words that you're giving me from inside. And who in this world can be so undisturbed that he can remain steady as you are moving the different energies? Who can resist doing what you ultimately want? And actually, you, Ramananda Roy says to Mahaprabhu, you are speaking through my mouth. And at the same time, amazingly enough, you're listening. So this is very mysterious. Anyway, kindly hear the explanation of the process by which the goal can be obtained. So Prabhupada has purports here, but I want to explain something a little bit differently. Then he says, he's talking about the process. The pastimes of Radha and Krishna are very confidential, very, very mysterious, very secret rahasya. They cannot be understood through the mellows, through the rasa of servitude, dasyaras, sakyaras, or vatsalyaras, fraternity or parental affection. Actually, only the gopis have the right to appreciate these transcendental pastimes. And only from them can these pastimes be expanded. Without the gopis, these pastimes between Radha and Krishna cannot be nourished. Only by their cooperation, because of the gopis being there, then Radha and Krishna can enjoy their pastimes. Only by their cooperations are such pastimes broadcast. It is their business to taste the mellows. Without the help, no, please bear with me as we deal with this most wonderful and intimate subject. Without the help of the gopis, one cannot enter into these pastimes. Only one who worships the Lord in the ecstasy of the gopis, following in their footsteps, can engage in the service of Sri Radha and Krishna in the bushes of Vrindavan. Only then can one understand the conjugal love, the madhurya rasa between Radha and Krishna. There is no other procedure for understanding. So one has to be enveloped in the mood of the gopis. Now, Prabhupada has a long purport here that I want to continue. Then he says, Ramananda Roy continues, the pastimes of Radha and Krishna are self-effulgent. They reveal themselves by their existence. They are happiness personified. They're unlimited and all-powerful. Even so, the spiritual humors of such pastimes are never complete without the gopis, the Lord's personal friends. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is never complete without his spiritual potencies. Therefore, unless one takes shelter of the gopis, one cannot enter into the company of Radha and Krishna. Who can be interested in their spiritual pastimes without taking their shelter, without taking shelter of the gopis? So remember, Mahaprabhu had asked about what the process was to attain the highest goal. So Ramananda Roy is explaining that you have to follow the mood of the gopis. Now, what is that mood? And now he's going to explain, Ramananda Roy is going to explain something extremely mysterious, the most mysterious. There is an inexplicable fact. That means you can't understand it. You can't explain it. About the natural inclination of the gopis, what they actually naturally experience. The gopis never want to enjoy themselves with Krishna personally. The happiness of the gopis increases 10 million times when they serve to engage Sri Sri, Radha, and Krishna in their transcendental pastimes. So their happiness is bringing Radha and Krishna together. Because they know that who can give Krishna the most pleasure? It is Srimati Radharani. And our interest is to give Krishna pleasure. So they're always trying, all the pastimes of Vrindavan are to bring Radha and Krishna together. In Vrindavan, sometimes you hear the people chanting Radhe Radhe Shamalade. Have any of you heard that? But that is not our philosophy. Radha, please, Radharani, give me Krishna. No, that is not how the teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur talks about bringing Radha and Krishna together. Now, by nature, Srimati Radharani is just like a creeper of love of Godhead. And the gopis are the twigs, flowers, and leaves of that creeper. When the nectar of Krishna's pastimes is sprinkled on that creeper, the happiness derived by the twigs, flowers, and leaves is 10 million times greater than that derived by the creeper itself. So here it is explained that the gopis enjoy so much more by serving the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. And here again, Srila Prabhupada has very important purport. All the gopis, the personal friends of Srimati Radharani, are equal to her. Krishna is pleasing to the inhabitants of Brajabhumi, just as the moon is pleasing to the lotus flower. His pleasure-giving potency is known as Haladini, by which the active principle is Srimati Radharani. She is compared to a creeper with newly grown flowers and leaves. When the nectar of Krishna's pastimes is sprinkled on Srimati Radharani, all her friends, the gopis, immediately appreciate the pleasure 100 times more than if they were sprinkled themselves. Actually, this is amazing. This is amazing. This is how they enjoy, not in any self-centered way, but by serving Radha and Krishna. That is they get more pleasure from that. So that is so wonderful. But now Ramananda Roy says, you think that is wonderful? Here is something even more wonderful. And keep in mind that up until this point, we haven't been, that Ramananda Roy hasn't fully answered the question that Mahaprabhu asked. And that question was, how do you achieve this? You just explained that the gopis side, how they are so selflessly serving. And now he's explaining something even more wonderful than the pure selfless love of the gopis. Although the gopis, Srimati Radharani's friends, do not desire to enjoy themselves directly with Krishna, Srimati Radharani makes a great endeavor to induce Krishna to enjoy himself with the gopis. So this is even more wonderful. Presenting various pleas for the gopis, Srimati Radharani sometimes sends the gopis to Krishna just to enable them to associate with him directly. At such times, she enjoys a happiness 10 million times greater than that enjoyed through direct association. So this is Braj. This is the devotional spirit that is so intense that makes Vrindavan the sweetest place in existence. The gopis or Radharani or the gopis are serving Sri Radha and Krishna. And then Radharani, even more wonderfully, is serving the gopis and trying to bring them together with Krishna. Now, in the next verse, the actual upaya is going to be described. But I want you all just to take one moment and close your eyes and pray for your Guru Maharaj, and I will be right back. Please excuse me, Hare Krishna. Now here's the point that I wish to speak about, because here Sri Ramananda Roy speaks about the upaya, the methodology of achieving the highest perfection. Anyonye Vishuddha Preme Kore Rasa Pushta Tan Sabara Prema Deki Krishna Hoya Tushta. That transcendental prem, Vishuddha Prema, Kore Rasa Pushta, is nourished. The rasa is nourished. The mellow is nourished by Tansabara, Anyonye, amongst each other. Tansabara, all of them are engaging in this type of activity. The gopis are serving Radharani and pushing Radharani forward to Krishna, and Radharani most wonderfully is pushing all the gopis towards Krishna. And there is no selfishness in it. And what is the motivating mood that causes them to act in that way of complete selfless service? It is Vishuddha Preme, their love for Krishna. And because they have such pure love for Krishna, and they're only looking for Krishna's pleasure, they are just interested in this type of service. And then Tansabara Premideki, when Krishna sees the purity of their love, Krishna Hoya Tushta, he becomes fully satisfied. So this is what, this is the answer that Mahaprabhu, that Ramananda Roy gives through his mouth, but Mahaprabhu is giving the answer on how to develop the highest love, this highest platform. It's that one should serve. And who should one serve? One should do one's service and try to push others forward to Krishna and serve each other. And this is the great fortune of having the association of devotees, is that there's so many opportunities for taking care of each other and helping each other advance, and especially at this very, very, very difficult time, at this very, very difficult time when your Guru Maharaj is in such an awkward position. If you want to know how you can please him, this is my suggestion. Please serve each other and take care of each other, based simply on the desire out of your affection for him, out of your appreciation for him, out of understanding what a servant he is, what a servant of Srila Prabhupada he is, what a servant of all the devotees he is, what a good, pure-hearted Vaishnava he is, and how much he's so personal with each and every one of you. And he has hundreds and thousands of people all over the world praying for him now. Because why? Because of his heart, because he has such a Shuddha Vaishnava heart. And many years ago, when I was serving on the GBC, I had the fortune to go with him, and we were visiting. We had some service to do. We had to visit some of Prabhupada's godbrothers. And we got on the rickshaw in Mayapur, and then we visited, I think it was Bharati Maharaj, and then his Devangesh Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj, both of course are so revered as godbrothers of Srila Prabhupada. And I just watched them deal with your Guru Maharaj. And first of all, they were just so happy to see him, because he was such a quality Vaishnava, means had such a quality Vaishnava heart. And he dealt with them very sweetly, and we did, but they were so happy to see him. And both of them said, please come again, please come again. We want to see you again. So we have such an opportunity now to serve him. This special Vaishnava, we have such an opportunity to serve him. And then the question is how to serve him, how to please him, and how to nourish our own love for him, and also in that way our love for Sri Radha and Krishna too. It's out of our love for him, please serve each other. Please take care of each other. Please take care of each other, because it is a difficult time. Try your best, go out of your way to take care of each other in any way you practically can. Try to make it easier for each other. And that automatically will make it easier for you. And that's the miracle of this system. When the gopis were serving Radha and Krishna, bringing Radha and Krishna together, so much of the mercy of the enjoyment between Radha and Krishna came sprinkled down upon them, and they enjoyed 10,000 times even more. So if we try to help each other, the same process will work. And there's the fortune of a difficult time. There is unlimited need. So according to your capacity, according to your desire, please help and serve each other. So that's what I wanted to say. So I wanted to not talk and talk and talk and talk, but I wanted to know if there's anyone had any questions or any way I can, yeah, if you had any questions, perhaps I may be able to answer them. But I don't know how to do anything except on Zoom, except speak. So either someone has to tell me what to do, or it's obvious.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances.
I can't hear you very well, but
Is it better now?
yes, yes.
Thank you so much for your association and for all
Hare
that you
Krishna.
shared, especially the point about taking care of each other. It's a very beautiful point, and definitely we should all focus on it right now. My question is that right now, the situation of Guru Maharaj's health is that fluctuations are going to come. There are going to be ups and downs. The road is bumpy. So, in such moments when we don't always receive good news, it's very disturbing. So, how to not get into the mood of lamentation and, anxiety and tension? And because if we go in that, it's a loop and it's hard to come out of it. So how to immediately turn it to the direction of sincere prayers and having faith in the higher arrangement, how to be able to do that?
Well, my answer to that, especially it's a very good question and heartfelt question. My answer to that, based on what we just heard about, is that know that everyone is experiencing this. It's not only you who's experiencing that. So you help others, and don't be alone, and don't let others be alone with these during the difficult times. If you can alleviate someone's difficulty amongst these difficult circumstances to some degree, at least they know that they're not alone. And yes, that's what I would say, is help others. Because and that will be the thing that pleases Maharaj the most. As far as I know him, that's what will please him the most. So at this point, we want to please him out of our affection for him. So it seems to me, because we're not doctors, we can't go in, we should pray, we must pray, but we can't change the circumstances. That's up to Krishna. So, but what we can do is help each other deal with this. So that's my suggestion.
It's thank you so much for that. But it's also that it's a struggle to have complete faith in Krishna, that he will not take Guru Maharaj or not let something really bad happen.
Will help others with that same question. You're not the only one who has that question, I can assure you. Because at these times, we can't conceive of the inconceivable. He's like our Father. How can you conceive of anything? So you're not the only one who's in this kind of anxiety. So again, by being strong enough to help others, that will give you strength too.
Yes. Thank you so much.
There's no miracle answer, I'm afraid. If we were Jaduwala, I don't find that spiritual life works in that way.
No, but that is a very helpful answer. And my sister also has a question.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances.
You have to speak loudly.
Okay. My question is that right now the situation is very difficult and we are all sincerely praying and we want to help each other. But when the situation gets better and we see Guru Maharaj improving, our sincerity starts going down. So how can we maintain this forever? How can we be this sincere and this determined in our desire to serve him?
How to be more sincere than you are.
Yeah, and also to maintain this mood right now that
That's what I'm saying. Because it's like we saw with Srila Prabhupada and Maharaj, that their moods, well, let's talk about Maharaj at this time, that their mood is steadily one of service, because that means steady sincerity. So the problem is lack of sincerity on my part. So how to become more sincere is the real issue. There's samasa vairagya, where in front of the crematorium, everyone is renounced and detached. But how to become renounced and detached or more sincere in a steady way? And the answer is by association. And also, by association with those more sincere than us. And one other part of the answer is to know how that to recognize our own insincerity. And that will make us more humble. And then that will give us the ability to take more shelter, because we need more shelter. So we're also quite helpless and dependent at every moment. So that's all I can say on that question. How do you become more sincere? That's the question I also ask myself.
Thank you.
And help others. Same point.
Yeah.
One of my godbrothers, a very, very old and dear friend who is very exalted soul, he once said to me, how can I be as sincere throughout the day as when I'm giving class? So in that question is of course, the humility of the devotee, and also know that Krishna will take care of you also and your sister. But how, we cannot say.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, thank you very much for wonderfully explaining us how should we act in this situation, and so on. Maharaj, my question is, just like you are telling again and again to help each other, can you please elaborate how we can help each other?
According to the needs of the person. If a person is hungry, a devotee is hungry, maybe the first need is that you have to get him prasadam. And maybe if he's tired, maybe you have to help him get a little rest. And maybe if he's in anxiety about your Guru Maharaj, maybe you can sit and go in front of the deities and pray together. Maybe if he's anxiety about something else, maybe there's a practical way you can help. So that's the kind of answer I would give to that question. One's help is according to the need of the moment. What do you think?
Yeah, Maharaj.
So, and then the question comes, when someone is in need, say in this case, someone's in a lot of anxiety about Maharaj, so how can you help them? You don't say you don't know how to help them. But first thing is you can be with them and let them know they're not alone. And the second thing is you pray to Krishna to give you some intelligence to be of some service to this person. So I wanted to leave time for questions because I know that there are unlimited questions, but they're all coming from the same deep question. How can I really help Maharaj? Help my Guru Maharaj, help your Guru Maharaj. But here, all we can do is we're limited. He's not depending on you for help. He's depending on Prabhupada and Krishna. His heart is going upward. You know, now's the time to be strong, actually, and help others. And there's this one devotee who was a devotee from really from his birth or many births or whatever. And he told me a story about his father's brother. When they were young, their grandmother was a devotee, and she was very fond of always saying Radhe Sham, Radhe Sham, Radhe Sham, Radhe Sham, Radhe Sham. And every day, this was of course many, many years ago, because it's his great grandmother, and he's a mature adult now. His grandmother every day would go to the river, bathe, and then come back and read Bhagavad Gita. And then one day, she came back and said, what I want you all to do, she gathered the family members and came back and said, what I want you to do is put a cloth on the ground, and I'm going to lie down on this cloth, and I want you to all stand around me and say, Radhe Sham, Radhe Sham, Radhe Sham. So somehow or another, she knew her time had come. And all the family members understood this too. So they put a cloth on the ground and they lied down. And she lied down on the cloth, and they gathered around her and they began saying, Radhe Sham, Radhe Sham. And the devotee who I'm close with, his father's brother and his grandmother were very, 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 very close. And he began to cry. A young boy, he began to cry. And his grandmother said, my dear beloved, now you have to leave. Because when it's time for me to leave, if you're crying, I'm going to feel so bad that I'll have to come back by that attachment. So now you have to leave. Somehow I find that story very, a true story, very, very heart-touching and difficult to digest, because at a difficult time, we have to get our center away from my sadness, my unhappiness, my anxieties, like a little boy, and grow up very fast and help and keep our consciousness on what can I do to help this person who has helped me so much, who has helped so many others so much. What can I do for him? His pleasure in the center. And that could and should give us impetus to become stronger and help others, because my message to you is that, at least this is what I'm feeling, my service, my thinking, my services to your Guru Maharaj is to give you this particular bit of advice. Other than praying, you're not a doctor. You can't be there with him. You can't force Krishna to do anything. He's the transcendental autocrat. So what can you do to help and please him at this time? Is help each other. So he doesn't have to worry, oh, this one's now worried about this and who's going to have this service and that's it. Yeah, it's a heavy answer. Take yourself out of the center and act to please him. That's called bhakti. Is that okay?
Okay, Maharaj.
Prabhu, is that okay?
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare.
Be strong. Be strong. You know, your heart may be breaking. And your heart is breaking. But now is the time to help others. To please him. Because in that verse, Ramananda Roy said, Tam sabara premi deki. Seeing their love for him, Krishna was pleased. This is the way they expressed their love for him. But it was based on their real love for him. So go and find that place of that real deepest appreciation and then act. Okay?
Thank you. Okay, Maharaj.
Hare
Thank you.
I think there's no easy answers to any of these questions. But pray like anything also. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisance.
I can't hear. Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, now I can hear.
Thank you so much for that wonderful class and for telling us that we should serve each other in this time. My question is, initially it was very difficult to say that Krishna, if you so desire.
Yes.
And we are lacking that shelter at this time. We think later that thing came that, okay, no matter what happens, it is not going to do as I will or anyone else's will, but it will only be what Krishna wishes to do.
Mataji, I also have that same problem. I decided that I'm not going to say if you desire. At least from my side. Of course, he'll do what he desires. But from my side, please do it.
So how do we develop that in the inside of our heart that, okay, Krishna, if you so desire, if you really want this, without...
Answer that question. Now's not the, personally, I don't find now's the time for if you so desire. I'm not so detached. Where did that prayer come from?
Where did that, all our seniors, all the other spiritual masters, they, Prabhupada, actually some days back, Guru Maharaj told us in a class that the right way to ask something to Krishna is, Krishna, if you so desire, please give us.
Because Prabhupada, with my realization on this is, excuse me for being a little more radical than I should, but see, Prabhupada gave us that prayer. Now, what will Prabhupada say? He gave us the prayer for his health. So of course he's going to say, Krishna, if you so desire, because that's his mood. And we were very, very young. But I've also had problem with that. I mean, now, then I prayed like that. But when thinking about your Guru Maharaj, I just decided to say, Krishna, please, please. I don't mean to contradict your Guru Maharaj, but I'm just telling you my thought at the moment on this point. How could you be so detached right now?
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. You do, when there was a time when Prabhupada was, he wanted to go around Govardhan Hill. And His Holiness Tamal Krishna Maharaj and your Guru Maharaj and others, they couldn't do it. He wanted, and there was some group of devotees said, we have to let him do what he wants. But they found it impossible to do it. And Prabhupada spoke to attention of Krishna Das Babaji Maharaj's Divine Grace, and said, see how much they love me in the presence of your Guru Maharaj. They just couldn't do it. So excuse me for being a bit radical here and not meaning to contradict, but yet, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. It really means a lot to us. You gave us the most profound wisdom, the mood of the gopis and Srimati Radharani at a most critical time for us. So it is really very helpful for us. And we are very grateful to you from the core of our hearts. Let us all thank Maharaj by one time chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Bhurijan Maharaj ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
And thank you for giving me the opportunity to offer the flower of my words at the feet of your Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.